Hello and welcome to VC House. And today we are talking to Jim Thomas. He is the partner at Central Florida Tech Fund. And Jim, before we really start our conversation, can you tell us about the strategy of your fund in terms of geography, stage,
Sure.
tax?
Yeah, no, happy to. I've been in originally from California. I've been in Florida now a little over 10 years. And I want to say about 6 years or so ago, I met a couple of guys who had started a venture firm in the Northeast out of New York called Kirenaga Partners. They started investing into Florida-based companies and really saw the opportunity, the undercapitalized opportunity that I did here in the region. At the time, I was running the regional chamber of commerce, and so I was trying to coordinate a lot of young, great startups and founders with accredited investors in the area. And most of their wealth had come from traditional places, and it just wasn't a great fit for them to jump in with a disruptive new technology. And if they ever did fund those kind of things, it was usually at a lower level. So I started referring a lot of those deals to Dave Scalzo and Terry Berlin at Kirenaga. They came back to me a couple of years ago and they said, some of our best performing investments are from Florida. And we never really had a Florida focus before. It's just, we jumped in where we could and we saw great valuations and we saw great technologies. And so they asked me if we put together a new fund that's Florida focused but not Florida exclusive, did I think that would work? Really to get into early stage pre-revenue to great companies throughout the state. And I really thought we'd be able to get the Florida investment community off the fence because we're de-risking it with our portfolio. We're doing the due diligence. We're doing all the management. And then that's what we put together. We launched it just a little over a year ago. Obviously, with the COVID challenges, we actually took a few months off and did some direct investing into our portfolio companies. But then we've gotten back to this raise for the Central Florida Tech Fund, and things are going really well.
As I remember, you raised 25 million for your fund. Yeah, correct.
The first fund we raised about 50 million, and now we're in the process of raising north of $100 million fund.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and the great thing and we could talk more about this, the great thing about investing in early stage in Florida is literally, roughly around a $2 million check is a 18 to 24 month runway for a lot of our great companies around here. And we think after that period of time, we can really get them to a place of commercialization. Whereas, my home state, the Valley and the Bay Area, a $2 million in early stage funding, doesn't go quite as far. So.
So, do I understand you correctly? Your average check of your fund is approximately 2 million US dollars.
Yeah, we're anywhere. Our focus is usually a 500,000 if it's kind of an early seed, up to about 5 million. If they need more than that, then we usually do some type of co-investing. We're usually in that seed stage. We would do some follow-on in a larger A or B round, but we probably, we wouldn't lead those. We'd lead early, but we wouldn't lead later.
Okay, okay, I see. Thank you, thank you. And you know, uh, Florida really does not seem a state which has a lot of startups. Can you tell a bit more about Florida? Because it's really
Yeah.
interesting that you decided to come to Florida and establish the fund there.
And that's the interesting thing. We think there's just a great opportunity. Yeah, obviously, we don't think Silicon Valley is going anywhere. I think New York's going to recover. The Northeast is going to be fine. But if you look to where the majority of the VC dollars flow on a pre-COVID and on an annual basis, it is just to those two regions, to the left and the Northeast. And what we found and what I found, I feel like I was almost dumb luck when I decided to move to Florida instead of moving to Texas when I left California. But literally from where I sit in downtown Orlando, I could be to Kennedy Space Center in under an hour, about 50 minutes, no traffic. And then if you look at what we call the I-4 corridor, starting up in Daytona, and then you pick up Gainesville and Alachua County, the amount of IP that's coming out of the University of Florida, Embry-Riddle, UCF, the list is long. Full Sail, Rollins College, and then over Florida Poly wasn't even there 6 years ago, and then over on the Tampa side, USF, much less the South Florida ecosystem. If you start to look at it holistically, there's a massive amount of talent and there's a massive amount of IP. But the problem is we've really lacked in early stage funding. So historically, the past 10, 20 years, certainly the 10 years that I've been here, those companies and those founders usually get pulled to Atlanta or to Boston or to Austin, sometimes up to California. And I think we're starting to see that trend shift a little bit. But it is when you look under the hood of Florida, it's pretty amazing what we do turn out.
Thank you. I've seen your last investment was in space industry.
Yes,
Uh,
great.
yeah,
Yeah,
tell us more
love
because
to.
it's
Yeah,
really interesting.
fantastic company that we moved on quickly. Again, the ecosystem brought the opportunity to us. It's a company called Space Perspective, um, led by a female founder, Jane Pointer. They're based at Kennedy Space Center, and literally they're pursuing space tourism without a rocket. And what they're using is traditional weather balloon technology, but now they're going to build basically the world's largest weather balloon and then be able to attach it to a capsule with eight people inside and a pilot, and be able to take, say, grandparents and grandkids to the edge of space without having to worry about a rocket. And then you have this multi-hour experience to really see that astronaut overview effect, as opposed to, Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic are, I'm sure they're going to be successful. But they're selling those at $250,000 a seat, and it's 10 or 15-minute rocket ride. So I look forward to doing that. But this model that Space Perspective has is just really it's set for I think a different demographic, and we'll have a different experience. But we're just super excited. I think one of the fellow investors was Tony Robbins, and they've just been such a just joy to work with.
And when are you waiting for the first launch?
They're hoping to they're going to be testing literally with continue to test. Their team actually holds the world's record for taking a astronaut to high altitude with a weather balloon. They took an astronaut to 136,000 feet, and he jumped out. And there's videos on YouTube, you could check that out. I think they're hoping to be operational certainly by 2024 and hopefully sooner. But from what I understand, they already have thousands of pre-registrations, and people are just so excited about the idea of going into or near space, getting to be able to look back at the planet and be able to see out into space, and to have that amount of time, not being in a pressurized capsule and not having to, have a spacesuit on or deal with G forces or any of that.
Are you going to buy a ticket as well?
I have my reservation in. Yeah, I'm one of the early registrants. Yeah, but I literally, the last time I checked, it was literally thousands of people, because there's no way. It's going to be expensive at first, but then they plan to scale. They'll start at Kennedy Space Center, but then they'll literally they hope to scale, I believe, around the world.
Okay, interesting, really interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
exciting, really.
yeah, we probably would like to invest in some space startups as well. So now it's starting to grow this industry.
Well, and it was crazy to see when I first came here. It was right after the shuttle program shut down, and it was just devastating to Brevard County and the entire Space Coast, which is just directly to my east. But at the same time, these crazy little startups called SpaceX and Blue Origin that people didn't think were going to do much of anything. Literally in the background, I have the SN9 launch out of Texas is supposed to potentially happen during our interview. But they didn't think that new space was just kind of a concept. But what we've seen happen over the last 10 years is just amazing. but when you talk about space and space technology and space startups, everything, it's not just rocket and rocket fuel. They need clean air and abundant, food and water and everything, that sanitation, everything that they would need here, they need in space, but they need the technology to do it, efficiently and cost effectively and safely. And that's one of our main, I think, focal points about being focused on Florida, but then specifically Central Florida, is our access to Space Coast and being able to see those. There are just literally, because of NASA and because of the historical space programs, there's literally just thousands and thousands of awesome engineers out in and around the Space Coast, and they're always jockeying around to different companies. And it's again, it's one of those things that it's not, if you just drive down, you don't really see it, but once you look under the hood, it's really impressive of what's out there.
Okay, thank you. And do you know, John Doerr at Kleiner Perkins once said that to be a successful VC, you're going to lose money, and the losses are going to be approximately 25 million US dollars. To which extent would you agree with this? And are you going to lose this money in your career?
We have a tremendous track record. We have certainly a lot of respect for Kleiner Perkins. We kind of joke they're one KP and we're the other KP of Kirenaga Partners. Yeah, we're excited. Our first fund that we put, obviously you're not going to hit a home run every time, but that's what we do love, the diversified effect of a venture portfolio. And like I said earlier, that's what people were scared of, is they would hear about these exciting ideas, but when an entrepreneur would ask for $2 million, that's exactly what they thought they were going to lose. And they didn't see, they would ask, what's your 3 years revenue and what's your commercialization plan? And oftentimes these technical founders don't have those answers. And that's what we really try to bring to the table, is if we validate the technology, we believe in the firepower and the horsepower of the founder. We'll say we'll take a risk on the commercialization. We'll help you get there as long as what we're talking about is real. We'll help you get your first 3 clients. We'll put that type of work in, and I don't see, especially in the early stage, excuse me, in the early stage space, it does take a lot of effort, it does take a lot of work, but that's where we also see the greatest potential for return. Our first fund that we put together has now annual returns of almost 25%. And we're just really excited. We've already made 5 with Central Florida Tech Fund. We've already made 5 investments. And yeah, so we're pretty optimistic on the profit side.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And, probably every VC has his own unique system of evaluation of startups. So, and I mean, his own secrets. Can you tell us your secrets? What is the formula of success? What do you think it is?
Right. I think it really, our big thing, like I said, it's about validating the technology. Like, we have to believe in it, but then we go to third party and really, subject matter experts that are, whether it's in agriculture or food, or one of the exciting ones, we were the first professional money into the vertical ag company of Plenty. And I think Jeff Bezos was second, Eric Schmidt was third, and SoftBank was number 4. But those are when we see, I use that as an example because when you start talking about agriculture, you go, wow, the market is really infinite. If we could actually, if they could scale this technology, I mean, they could literally sell to, potentially billions of people. So that's part of our process, is we want to see an addressable market. We want to see it be very high impact. We want to know that it has the potential for a return. We'd love to see a 10x return within 5 years, like with all of our companies. And they probably won't all hit that, but we all think that they're going to move in the right direction. But the overall thing, I think we want to develop a great working relationship. We never want to feel like we're dictating anything, but we also want to feel that we're being listened to. So I think that's the most important thing. It's almost an intuition piece when we're coming together to say, hey, this is a financial marriage, and we're not going to get divorced anytime soon. So let's make sure we start off. This isn't just a honeymoon phase, but we're going to be able to go much further than that.
Okay, okay. Thank you for sharing your secrets. Well, Jim, thank you very much for today's interview. My
Sure.
opinion, it will be very interesting for our community. So, and I hope to see you as a judge on our events.
Would love to be a judge for you guys. And yeah, if people are interested in knowing more about the Florida market and in the opportunities here and the great universities and especially now there's been a massive shift from New York and California to places like Texas and then but now also to Florida. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or through the website. I'm happy to talk with certainly early stage startups, but then also people that are interested in learning more about our fund. But I appreciate the time today.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Take care.